Hello, BookTube. So this might actually be my last wrap up, I think. I told myself that I would try it for a whole year, so I've been doing wrap ups all of 2017. I kind of started on a different channel, but then I continued it on this channel. If you absolutely love wrap-ups and also happen to like watching mine, then go ahead and leave a comment and let me know. You have until the end of January to convince me to continue doing them for 2018. Otherwise, I'm just going to ditch them. Before I jump into the books that I read for December, I want to let you guys know that on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the Libri Labra book club is getting together and we'll be having a live discussion on Faithful by Alice Hoffman. We've already selected January's book and we'll be reading Artemis by Andy Weir. So I'm excited to check that book out. I've heard lots of people talk about it. I know it may not be as great as The Martian, but since I haven't read that yet, I'm hoping that I'll really enjoy Artemis. Please feel free to join us on Goodreads. There's a link in the description below. Or, go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Libri Labra. Our book club VIPs are the ones who actually get a chance to select books and who sit in on the discussions via video. And you also get a free bookmark, and there's a bunch of other perks. I know I'm back in front of this gray wall again, and I'm filming in my bedroom on my phone, and that's because we're basically halfway through the process of putting together all of the bookshelves. I mean, we've built them all, but at this point I still have to transfer my books and my figurines and everything onto it and kind of decorate it and style it, and I'm hoping to get a chance to do that this weekend so that I can finally start filming in front of it. For November, the Libri Labra book club read Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. And this is the first time that I've read any Neil Gaiman stuff. And I had a hard time with it, to be honest. I did listen to it via audiobooks because that's how my husband and I listen to things together. We process it together since we're both in the book club. And he really enjoyed it and I didn't. And I know part of the reason was that I was just struggling to keep up with the story as it was being told from, I don't know if it went back and forth between perspectives or just time periods, but it did switch up and it was going back and forth, and I don't even know if I could tell you what happened. I know there was an Antichrist and there were these children that were born. There was quite a bit of humor in it, but a lot of it felt like just very tangential and nonsensical. It felt like nonsense. I was reading it and it felt like nonsense. I just could not find the solid storyline within all of the banter. And it may have been different for me if I had actually physically read the book, because I think I process things better that way. I might have been able to keep more track of the characters and what was happening. But reading the audiobook I gave it 2 stars, and I don't know if I'll pick up anything else by Neil Gaiman. If you guys love Neil Gaiman, feel free to leave me a comment and tell me what I should be reading instead by Neil Gaiman, something that was really good. I don't know. I guess I'm open, but it was rough. It was rough for me. The other book I read this month was Bird Box by Josh Malerman. Bird Box is his debut novel and was originally published in 2014, so I was surprised to see so many people talking about it now. Horror is not something I read very often, but it's definitely something that I've had an interest in jumping into. I remember reading lots of horror stuff when I was a teenager. I used to love Christopher Pike, I used to love R.L. Stine, and I want to find the adult equivalent of that, and I haven't really yet, but I'm going to keep searching. Bird Box is a post-apocalyptic novel, and I'm not sure I want to tell you too much about it because I feel like it's a book that's very heavily dependent on what your own fears are and what your imagination can conjure up. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because I did enjoy it. It didn't have me on the edge of my seat. It didn't make it difficult for me to sleep, and I kind of wanted those things. Maybe if I had gotten those things, I wouldn't have wanted those things, but again, take my opinion with a grain of salt because I don't read horror that often. For a lot of people, this was a great book for them. It's got tons of 4 and 5 star reviews. And like I said, I do think it's very much dependent on your own fears and what you find scary and what is really scary to you. And so that's going to dictate a lot of the experience. I guess I will say that the story kind of opens up with these gruesome murders, suicide stories appearing in the news, and it goes from there. The third book I read for the month of December was Spoonbenders by Daryl Gregory, and this was like one of Amazon's best books of the year. I definitely enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It was about the Telemachus family, which is a family that's full of kids with like special powers. You know, some are clairvoyant, they have ESP, they're really good at guessing, some is like a lie detector. So they have all these different powers, and it's a lot about their family dynamic. It's a little bit about one of the characters kind of discovering that he even has a power. But it's more about them and how they interact with each other and what kind of personal problems they have. And it's told in a very funny way. So it definitely kept me engaged. For me, the book starts off a little sexually uncomfortable, but I'm glad that I personally pushed through it because I did enjoy the book. But I'm just throwing that out there because I did read a lot of reviews, and for some people, they just couldn't after the first few pages. They were like, nope, not having it. I'm not reading this. So, and I don't really want to go into more detail. It's kind of awkward. I may or may not do a more detailed review for that one. I'm still thinking about it. The last book I read for the month of December is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Really, I don't know what to say about this book other than everyone should read it. I really believe that everyone should read it. And I think some people don't want to read it because they feel that perhaps police officers were painted in a negative light. This is just my assumption. But if you are one of those people, and that's one of the reasons that you're not reading it, I would really ask you to be a little bit more open-minded and to push past that. I didn't feel like police officers were framed as a whole in a negative light. I do think they made it very clear that there were good police officers and bad police officers. And I mean, you can say that about people in general. So the really important thing was getting a different perspective in regards to the Black people that are losing their lives right now. They're losing their lives, and they shouldn't be. I'm being really vague with The Hate You Give, but that's only because I will be doing a full review, and I'm going to do my best to try to present that creatively, because even though in the community we all say, hey, we want more book reviews, then they don't get watched. So anyway, I will be doing a full review on that. I think it's an important book. I think everybody needs to read it, and so I will talk more about that soon. If you've gotten this far, I do want to say that I appreciate you watching my videos, even though they've taken somewhat of a step back in regards to how I've been filming them. Just know that they will be getting better shortly, hopefully within the next couple videos. If I introduced you to a book that you haven't heard of, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.